All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about how businesses figure out how to create more value for less cost. And it's not just about pinching pennies. It's this really disciplined, almost surgical way of looking at a product or a service and figuring out what really matters and then just getting rid of everything that doesn't. So let's start with a really fundamental question, one that kind of drives this whole thing. What are you actually paying for? Is it the function, the stuff that makes a product actually work? Or is it just the fluff, the shiny bits? Figuring that out, well, that's exactly what this whole field of value analysis is all about. Okay, so let's get into the toolkit. We're going to look at the professional methods used to answer that exact question. Because this isn't about guessing. Not at all. It's a system for finding and even creating value. All right, the first tool in our belt is value analysis itself. You can think of it as a creative way to slash costs without hurting the product. It's like being a detective for a product, right? You look at every single component and you ask, does this actually do something for the customer? Does it help them get what they want, or is it just extra? If it's not adding real function or real quality, it might be on the chopping block. And this is where it gets really interesting because value isn't just one thing. It's actually broken down into 4 different types. First, you've got use value. That's the core function, the engine that makes the car actually go. Then there's esteem value. That's the stuff that makes you want it, the cool-looking chrome trim, the fancy badge. It doesn't make it go faster, but it makes it desirable. Then you have cost value, which is simple. It's what it costs to make the thing. And finally, exchange value, which is just the sticker price. So for a smart company, the game is to pack in as much use value as possible, sprinkle in just enough esteem value, and do it all while keeping that cost value way, way down. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you analyze all this stuff in a systematic way? You can't just wing it. You need a process, a formula you can follow every time. And here it is. It's called the Darr-Seery method. Think of it like a 7-step recipe for finding value. You start with D for data collection, get all your facts straight. Then you analyze it, record your ideas, and then you get to the fun part, S for speculation. That's where you brainstorm all the different ways you could do things. After that, you investigate, recommend, and finally implement. See? It's a clear roadmap, taking you from just an idea all the way to a real implemented solution. But listen, improving value isn't just about the design of the product. It's also about how you make it. The process itself can be full of hidden costs. And that's what we're tackling next, the hunt for the 8 deadly wastes. So what exactly is waste? Well, here's a super simple way to think about it. Waste is any activity that uses up resources but doesn't add any value for the customer. I mean, think about it. Would you ever be willing to pay extra for something just because someone had to walk across a giant warehouse to get it? No way. That's pure waste. First on our hit list, overproduction. This is the big one. It's making stuff before anyone's actually ready to buy it. It's often called the worst kind of waste because it causes all the others, like having a ton of money tied up in inventory that's just sitting there. Next up, waiting. This is anytime things are just stopped. A machine is idle, a person is waiting for a part, a file is waiting for approval. Every single second of that is time and money just draining away for absolutely no reason. Then you have transportation. This is just moving stuff around unnecessarily. Every time you move materials from point A to point B, you're not adding value, you're just adding cost and increasing the risk that something gets damaged along the way. Waste number 4 is excess processing. This is a sneaky one. It's basically doing more work to a product than the customer will ever notice or care about. Like polishing an internal part of an engine that no one will ever see? It's just wasted effort. And of course, there's inventory, having too much of it anyway. All that raw material, all those half-finished products, that's just cash sitting on a shelf. It's not working for you. It's costing you money to store, and it's at risk of becoming obsolete. Then we have wasted motion. This is all about people moving around unnecessarily. A technician walking back and forth to a toolbox all day. That's waste. A well-designed workspace puts everything you need right at your fingertips. Defects. This one's pretty obvious, right? When something's made incorrectly, you have to spend more time, more money, and more materials to either fix it or just throw it away. It's a total value killer and a great way to upset your customers. And finally, maybe the most tragic waste of all, non-utilized talent. This is when you have a team full of smart, creative people, and you just ignore their ideas. The people on the front lines often have the best solutions. Not listening to them is a huge, huge waste. So here they are, all laid out, the 8 wastes. And it doesn't matter if you're building cars or writing code, these are the enemies of efficiency. And the goal isn't just to trim a little fat here and there. The goal is to systematically hunt these down and eliminate them. When you do that, you're not just cutting costs, you're unleashing the real potential of your whole operation. Okay, so once you know what waste looks like, the next step is to get ahead of it, to actively manage your spending so it doesn't happen in the first place. This is where we shift from being reactive to being proactive. And that's what cost control is all about. It's the framework you put in place to manage all this. I love the guardrail analogy. You start by making a budget. That's your roadmap. Then you constantly check where you are, your actual spending, against that map to make sure you haven't taken a wrong turn and gone off a cliff. And one of the best, most elegant tools for doing this, for visualizing it, is something called an S-curve. And yep, you guessed it, it gets its name from its shape. Okay, so look at this. The S-curve is deceptively simple, but it's incredibly powerful. That baseline curve, that S-shape, that's your plan, that's your budget over time. See how it starts slow, then the spending ramps up in the middle of the project, and then it flattens out at the end? That's pretty typical. Now, you just plot your actual spending right on top of it. At a single glance, you can see exactly how you're doing. If your actual spending curve is above the planned one, well, you're over budget. It's like a real-time financial EKG for your project's health. Okay, so we've talked about a few big ideas here. Value analysis, getting rid of waste, and cost control. So the big question is, how do they all fit together? How do they combine to make a business run better? And the answer is, they're not separate ideas at all. They're part of one integrated system, a loop of constant improvement. Think of it like this. Value analysis helps you decide what to build. Waste elimination shows you the most efficient way to build it. And cost control makes sure you can actually afford to build it. Each part feeds the others, creating this incredible engine for making things better and cheaper. So we'll leave you with this final thought. You now have the basic toolkit. You know how to see different kinds of value, how to spot waste, and how to keep costs in check. So where is the hidden value in your world? I mean, look around you, at your job, in your house, anywhere. I guarantee you opportunities to make things better, to cut out the fluff and find what really matters. They're absolutely everywhere, just waiting for someone like you to spot them.